Hello, YouTube. This is my latest fashion. I'm wearing a turtleneck. I'm wearing a sleeveless fleece. I'm wearing more fleece and my winter coat. The heat's not on and it's actually tolerable, although my feet are getting cold. There's a little bit, a tiny, tiny bit of fog coming out of my mouth. So, see, almost just a tiny bit. So I want to talk to you about what do you do when you're broke? Um, I've seen a lot of videos and beautiful, gorgeous RVs, and they're like, "We're going RVing," and let me give you a tour of my RV, and they have like the latest, like they won the lottery yesterday. It's fantastic, and then they tell you about how their buying experience was so hard and they got it financed and so on. So I'm not talking to you. No, I'm kidding. Actually, you never know. If you got it financed, you're not as wealthy as you come across. But sometimes the poop hits the fan and nothing is is going your way. You are you're breaking down. You as in some RVers, you have you split up with your ex, your future ex. You split up with your husband, and you have kids, and you broke down, and you don't know anybody. You are got laid off, and you broke down. You got in an accident, and you broke down, and you know, uh, there's maintenance issues on RVs, and there's unless you know people, they'll gouge you. They'll gouge you, and you're like, I don't know anybody, I'm stuck. So here are some tips from experience. Um, the first thing is get good Sam's Club, CAA, get some kind of towing company because towing's not cheap, and they'll see you coming a mile away. Uh, if you get CAA or AA and AAA, the service has been kind of like and it's sometimes they'll send the wrong tow truck. They'll make you wait for hours. You know what? Reduce your stress. Deal with it. You have a bathroom. You have a kitchen. You got it good. Just stay put. Okay. And but you do want it removed from that area. And what I have done when I broke down and I was 25 kilometers east of Nipigon, Ontario. Ontario, you don't realize how big Ontario is, so you have to drive through it. And I was driving through Ontario for 2 months. Okay. There was that tree planting episode, and then the bear, the run in with the bear. Um, Long story, but I've had flat tire because I stopped to walk my dog and somebody was playing, plant the seed with the nails, and they were putting nails all over. Ironically, on the property of a tire shop. I've had a breakdown in like I said, 25 kilometers east of Nipigon, and gratitude goes a long way. And I was I was like, I can't believe I broke down here after everything we've been through. But actually, what happened is three semis passed me, and they were in a three semi accident just up the road. And if it wasn't for the fact that I broke down, I would have been in that accident with them. So sometimes it's divine intervention. Okay, so just take a breath. And that was the only time that we took a ride in a police car. Me, my daughter, and my dog. And while they towed us into town. Believe it or not, nobody could find the part. And finally, I went to every single mechanic in that town, and nobody could find the part. And so I went to the guy that they all said don't go to, and he made the part for $3.50. $3.50. And that was um, for my bicycle brake wire, because my gas pedal wire came off, and the labor cost $30. This guy had come out from under an RV and called the one he was working on a piece of shit, and I went like, okay, well, if you think that one's bad, I have one to show you. I mean, unbelievable. The towing cost me, because I did not have CAA, cost me $200. And why were they more helpful? It's because they were hoping I'd abandon the RV. And so we got off easy on that one. When I had a flat tire, they wanted to charge me $200 for a tire. I didn't have that. And I was willing to wait and stay overnight in the RV to get a used tire at the used tire shop. And I started chatting in French with the employee that was handling the repairs, because the management had all left. And he just starts unloading my tire and starts working on it. I said, I don't have the $200. He says, I'll fix it. So he fixed it for $35. And that was it. And I drove it on that tire into Alberta and across the country. So you can save money in repairs, but you have to be patient. You have to be nice. And there's other ways too. The carburetor on this RV was on recall for 30 years and never got replaced. The float was bent. And then somebody backed into me, and then I needed I was just leaking oil, so I needed a new oil pump. The shocks were gone, so I needed shocks. I needed an extension to my muffler, exhaust pipe, because the exhaust was going into the RV. I needed a new muffler because it was like, oh my God, what did they do? Previous owner. So that's a lot of repairs. And so this is where I want to talk to you about the power of barter. Okay. And I have a lot of skills, and I didn't have the money for it. And there's mechanic shop. They don't want to spend the money for a website. They just, they'd rather spend it on something else, and they don't want to spend it on a website. So if they're not going to hire me anyways, and they're not going to give me any money, and I'm not going to work for free, so I arranged to barter. And sometimes it takes calling several mechanic shops and finding out who has a crappy website, a terrible website, and needs a redesign or needs a new design. And I explained to them the value of what I do is about $2,500. But the value of, I just need a few things done, and I don't ask for everything from one. So like I had the carburetor and the spark plug wires replaced by one shop. And then another shop did, for another website, did the exhaust and the muffler and the shocks and the exhaust pipe and the oil pump and a tire. And then the next year, the first shop did the rewiring of my house battery, because the wires had melted. He said, I can't imagine why you didn't have a fire. and put bigger, smaller gauge, which means bigger wires. It's weird. And I got a new alternator and a new breaker box for my house battery. So I could not afford any of that, and and they did it for a couple more years of hosting. So it cost them parts and labor, and it cost me time, and uh, you know I pay for the expense for the hosting and all and all. So it was a win-win situation. And also, while they're working on it, I'm plugged in. I have power for however long they take, and I have Wi-Fi. Although the one down in Red Deer, a shout out to Custom Muffler in Red Deer, they did the all that, but their Wi-Fi was so bad. I also got their Wi-Fi upgraded, their phone system upgraded. They said just hearing me yelling at TELUS was way worth it. They got their money's worth right on the spot. And then J&J Automotive in Edmonton, fabulous people. They really did a good job, and they were very on the ball. There were barters that didn't work. There was a barter where I had two vehicles at the time, and this was, gosh, about almost 2 years ago. And my RV sat for 4 months in the industrial area. So I stayed in the RV in the industrial area, which was kind of dicey. And I was lied to. He never did anything. And yet for 3 months, he enjoyed the website. So when I found out that he had not done anything, I went ahead and put on his website, I've been scammed. The lies never end. Because if he didn't pay for it, then I owned the website. And then, and then there was another one that I went to, and my understanding is they were going to give me a job, and I was going to do their websites, and we were going to do a partial barter where, they replace my windows, my windshield has cracks, and they would replace that, and fix this and that. And they didn't do anything. So, they didn't have their act together. Sometimes they don't work. So you have to be prepared to give it a time limit. I was there for a week and a half. Again, I had Wi-Fi and I was plugged in, but it's depressing. So it's very important to figure out what marketable skills you have before you go on vacation, and use those skills. Some of you are mechanics. Some of you are so you can barter. Some of you are have video editing skills. Okay, you've been getting those skills from doing YouTube videos. So what you could do is give them a sponsorship, create commercial videos for them, promoting their business so that they can post it on Facebook and on social media. And, you have skills, and use those skills and barter. And the other reason why it's important to barter, and, yeah, you could ask for donations and so on, but there's I call it fixing your karma. Rather than asking something for nothing or asking for charity, because they actually came up with a term for it, and it was like e-begging or something. Offer a skill, offer a good or service. I have been honing my skills on photography, so I offer to barter photography. somebody offered me to let me do my laundry at their place. And I found out they didn't have a pair of boots. They didn't have boots. We're in Canada. And he was a single dad on disability and he didn't have boots. So I found out what size he wears. And then I went on Kijiji and I found people they're selling their brand new boots that they never wore. And his size. And I contacted them and I offered to do, because I didn't have the funds for his boots and I shouldn't be paying for his boots, but I offered to do a photo shoot so that in exchange for the boots. And that guy who owned the boots didn't need a photo shoot, but I think it was his niece or his daughter and her son could use the photo shoot. So what he's doing is he's letting me do a photo shoot for them in exchange for the boots. And then I can give this gentleman the boots and do my laundry at his place and not feel like I'm imposing. He doesn't feel like I'm taking advantage of him, and do my laundry at no charge. So, you have it, and it's what I refer to as fixing your karma. So if somebody does something nice for you, offer to do something for them. Cooking services, cleaning services, whatever it is, offer to do something back for them. Photography, advertising, graphic arts, and hone in your skills, and it'll give you confidence. It'll take away that fear in the pit of your stomach that, oh my God, what if, what if, what if? And, sometimes it takes a few tries, but hopefully this has been helpful. And, and patience. You're not going to get it all done overnight, bar none. I actually need a fuel pump, and I'll be contacting, within the next couple of days, I'll be contacting a couple of shops to see if they're willing to barter. And, for them, a fuel pump is a few dollars plus labor. But when they charge, $500, $700, and they're going to get a website out of it. So, it's a win-win situation because it costs my time. And also, there's no such thing as rushing, okay? Because they still have to make the rent. They still have to pay their bills. They still have to pay their employees. So they're going to be squeezing you in between customers. And yes, you're doing something for them, but you have to be patient because cash is king. And so they're going to take their customers that are paying them and they're going to put them before you. Okay. And just be patient and be nice and maintain good business relationship with them. And who knows, they might refer business to you. All right. So be safe and stay warm and stay out of trouble. And subscribe. This is the Selfie Whisper Misadventures.